kathywilliams.com, you can receive a free money rain exercise and an exercise to create your life. And I get emails from people saying, Kathy, I listen to that exercise every morning. So I'm delighted to hear that. I guess they like it. And you can get that right there for free, as well as hit the radio tab and see radio archives there right at the website. So our conversation today is about receiving. We've talked about receiving judgment. We've talked about our points of view about receiving, how we tend to calculate who you can receive from and how much you can receive from. And that dropping those points of view can really expand our lives. Then we can wear the purple shirt or dress that the person didn't really like, even though we like it. You know, have the freedom to do that without limiting ourselves. We also talked about receiving awareness. And, you know, that's a whole show in itself. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the month. Next week's show is on overwhelm, which is something that a lot of us come up against and can really shift. We'll shift it during our conversation. Receiving awareness. You know, awareness is one of those things that we dynamically limit in order to make other people comfortable. In order, you know, we dynamically override it, let's say. So if I get the sense like, don't go in the car with that person, but I've already told them I'm going to, then, well, that would look weird or be flaky or make them uncomfortable. So of course I'm going to get in the car, right? That's an example of overriding awareness. So awareness is a huge topic. However, if you're willing to have more awareness, your life will get better and better and better. So yeah, let's turn that into a show. And before we leave today, one thing that I'd really like to do is a receiving exercise that I do pretty much daily, because it really is such an invitation to recognize that the entire universe supports you. And the more you're willing to soften and receive, the more you'll sense that to be true. Now, this is not an energy pull exercise, which we will do many of in my 5 days of energetic exercises for receiving. And you can find that class at meetkathywilliams.com/upcoming. So we'll do this one or a similar one in the class, and then we'll do a bunch of fun energy pulls and some other exercises and clearings. And it's interactive so that you can ask your questions and things like that, and it will all be recorded for you to listen to again and again. So let's get started. And what I'd like you to do is, whether you're listening to this while you're on a run or in a safe, comfy space, you can do this exercise with eyes open or not. Okay, so if you're on a run, keep those eyes open. If you're in a car, definitely a good choice. If you're the driver, know that you can do this exercise with your eyes open, and it will be effective. And if you're in a cozy spot, go ahead and close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is just soften yourself onto the surface you're resting on. And begin to really sense the support of that. Receiving the support of whatever you're resting on. And softening your body. Soften and start to receive the contribution of the clothes you're wearing, of the cells of your body, each doing its own work, each doing its own activity. The bone cells, the cells of the heart and the lungs, the blood cells and the muscles, all of the various cells receiving their contribution to your life. And as you're here, settling your body into the surface you're resting on, notice what's below that surface. So the tug of gravity downward, receiving from the planet, receiving the energetic and magnetic contributions of planet Earth, and receiving everything else that the Earth and its presence are gifting to you. And now begin to receive the contribution of all the molecular structures around you. The walls, the air, receiving from each of the sounds, receiving if you're in a building from beyond the building. The plants, the animals, the people and their bodies. Softening and receiving even from those things you've decided you can't receive from. Insects, dog poo, whatever it is. What if you could receive even from that, in the oneness you be? Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. How much more can you receive? How much more can you be right now? Simply being present. What else can you receive? Who else can you receive from? Just thank your body, thank your presence, thank this planet, just with a light sense of appreciation. And willingness to tap into this in any moment of any day because it's always available. There's nowhere that you cannot receive. So I mentioned earlier in the show, I would tell a story about The Help. And in The Help, the movie, the book, this woman creates a poop pie. So if someone gives you a poop pie, right, what are you going to do with it? Will you eat it? Will you reject it and throw it in their face or throw it at them? Or will you just take it and say, oh, cool, thanks. They went to a lot of effort. Thanks. And put it in your garden or in the trash where it belongs. So if we're not rejecting, okay, what can we use everything? How can we use everything? We receive everything to create greater possibilities. Eating the poop pie would be saying, oh, yes, you're right, right? Yes, you're right with your judgment. Pushing it against, like pushing it back, throwing it back at them would be saying, no, you're wrong. Interesting point of view is, how can I use this to create something greater? I don't have to know what that greater thing is, right? Interesting point of view is, okay, this is what is. I don't have to make it bad. I don't have to make it great. I'll just use it to create something greater. So what can you use in your life that's showing up that doesn't seem to be wonderful? And how can you use that to create a greater possibility, no matter what it is? Would you be willing to shed your judgment of it enough to allow it to contribute to you and create something maybe even greater than you've ever imagined, right? There's a story I tell in some of my classes, and I know we're getting short on time. It's the maybe so, maybe not story. So we will do a show on awareness coming up, and I will post the maybe so, maybe not story to YouTube. Kathy Williams, public figure. You can find it there on YouTube. It's not there yet, but I'll post it there. And then we'll do a show on awareness and receiving that and not overriding it so that you can have more ease in your life at the end of the month. So next week's show is on overwhelm. Then we'll do one on awareness. And you can always find me at meetkathywilliams.com. You can play with me in Hawaii at the end of May, mid-May, end of May, and also in August if you'd like to come play. And I'll be in Europe this summer if you'd like to come to a foundation class or an abundance alchemy class over in London or Vienna. So I'd love to see you in person, do these energetic exercises, and all of these things can be found at meetkathywilliams.com/upcoming. meetkathywilliams.com/upcoming. And there is a radio tab there where you can also find show archives and send me your ideas. I always love to hear from you. You know, receiving is one of our greatest capacities, and one of those capacities we limit so dynamically. And if you ever want a good example of receiving, watch children. They're not receiving 100% all the time, you know, like sometimes they resist too, but overall there's such a lovely capacity to receive that you have had in your life too at some point or another. So what would it take for us to tap more back into that again and again and again, even to receive from those things we've decided we can't receive from? The bad or the negative or whatever it is just a judgment. What if you could use that to create a greater life, a greater living, a greater future? Yeah. And part of that is just the recognition that the universe has your back, you know? And so if you're asking for that and willing to receive it, it will show you. And awareness is part of that. So what are you refusing to perceive, know, be, and receive that you could truly perceive, know, be, and receive? That if you would allow you to have a life that's greater than you could even imagine, and inspire others to be and receive that greatness as well. That's where I'm going to leave you this week. What are you refusing to perceive, know, be, and receive that you truly could perceive, know, be, and receive, that if you would give you a greater life than you've ever even imagined. See you next week on Om Times Radio, everyone. If you can't wait that long, find me on iTunes, Sexy Mom Abundant Life, or SoundCloud, or right here on IOM.FM, where you can find the Sexy Mom Abundant Life page, which has the archives of the show. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Aloha.